Before we begin with the presentations of the papers, just a few words about the scope, the aim and objective of the Eumenides project, even though Pavlou has already mentioned a few of the things I will be referring to. As Pavlou said, this very conference takes place within the framework of the Eumenides project. And in addition to my presentation of the project, I will be saying a few words of the website of the project and the digital database that we have created. As can be inferred from the title, the Eumenides project examines and analyzes the reception of ancient Greek tragic myth in modern Greek poetry and theatre of the 20th and 21st centuries. And just to note that the title of the project, Our Heroic Debate with the Eumenides, in Greek, ο ηρωικός μας αντίλογος με τις Eumenides, is inspired by one of Seferis' poems, All Things Pass Away, which are written in Greek. Ξεχάσαμε τον ηρωικό μας αντίλογο με τις Eumenides, μας πήρε ο ύπνος, μας πήραν για πεθαμένους και έφυγαν φωνάζοντας «Γιου, που παξ», βρίζοντας τους θεούς που μας προστατεύουν. As Pavlou has already mentioned, the project has a duration of 3 years. It commenced in April 2012, and it will be completed in April 2015. So we're heading towards the end, even though we do hope that the database and the website will continue to be enriched and be active even after the completion of the project. Now, the research team of the project consists of Pavlou who is the principal investigator and he is an associate professor at the University of Cyprus, Antonis Petridis, who is the co-investigator, a senior lecturer at the University of Cyprus, and myself. So, why is the reception of ancient Greek tragic myth in modern Greek poetry and theatre so important? Our identity, both national and cultural, has been shaped to a large extent by our ongoing dialogue, or if you prefer, debate, with the classical past. And in this dialogue, Greek tragedy has always held a prominent position. Greek tragic plays have always served as an interpretative lens for modern Greek poets and playwrights, a lens through which to examine, showcase, criticize, comment upon contemporary crises, social pathogenies, ideological tensions, and political dynamics. Consequently, Greek tragedy has been a crucial factor in the formation of a poetics and a politics of modern Greek national and cultural identity. Now, the aim of the Eumenides project is to catalogue and analyze the various ways in which ancient Greek tragedy and tragic myth have been adapted, reinterpreted, reimagined in modern Greek poetry and theatre from the early 20th century onwards. In other words, the aim of the project is to explore how modern Greek authors established protocols for the creation of meanings by inviting and triggering their audiences to respond not only to the text per se, but to a network of texts invoked by it. In this case, to a network of Greek tragic texts that are filtered, refracted, or encoded through their modern successors. Now, even though nowadays reception studies thrive, and although there are some excellent and wide-ranging studies on the reception of ancient Greek tragedy in modern Greek poetry and theatre, there is still much to be said, while many significant issues are still in abeyance. The Eumenides project seeks to contribute towards this direction and help to bridge this gap. And we believe that the fact that the research is conducted into English renders the project's contribution broader and even more significant. Now, as mentioned above, the project focuses on poetry and theatre. As far as poetry is concerned, we have examined 3 poets. First of all, George Seferis, and one of the main aims here was to examine how the plot and language of ancient Greek tragedies are crucial to the articulation of nationhood in some of George Seferis' poems. And there is a dense publication by Pavlou in CRJ where he examines how Seferis deploys the ethos and language of Greek tragedy to mythologize the events of the Greek Civil War. The second poet was Yannis Ritsos, and more particularly we focus attention on the fourth dimension of the poems Agamemnon, Orestes, Phaedra, Ajax, and Philoctetes. And here our aim was to examine Ritsos' engagement and dialogue with various intellectual and political currents of the mid-20th century, and especially Sartrean existentialism. And there are three publications deriving from this research: Vaios Diabis on Orestes and the Notion of Nothingness in the International Journal of the Classical Tradition, and this article is also available online, and two publications of mine on Ritsos' Ajax in Logion, and on mythical and Sartrean influences in the fourth dimension. This is a chapter in a collective volume that has appeared came out a few days ago. The third poet is the Cypriot poet, Kyriakos Karagabidis, and we are glad because he is here with us today. Here, more specifically, we laid emphasis upon his collections, Mythistoia, Queen's Apple, Beginning, Desire, and the Language of Weeping. And our main aim was to examine how Karagabidis reworks major ancient Greek tragic archetypes and how Greek tragedy is used largely as a tool for collective self-criticism and for furthering the debate on national and cultural identity. And there is a relevant forthcoming publication by Antonis Petridis, which deals in depth with this issue, and it focuses mainly on accurate tragic myth. Now, as far as theatre is concerned, we have worked on Nikos Kazantzakis, more specifically his Prometheus trilogy. And here we try to contextualize and associate the Prometheus trilogy with Kazantzakis' ideological background, and especially his dialogue with Goethe, Bergson, and Nietzsche. And there is a publication, again by Antonis Petridis, as he was in the mix, in the Classical Receptions Journal, and the publication is also available online. Iakovos Kapanelis is the next playwright. We focus attention on his trilogy, The Supper, and the focus here was to examine how Kapanelis transplants the tragic Labdakid and outraged myth into a contemporary and humble domestic setting in order to bring to the fore pathogenies that characterize modern Greece. And there is an article on this by Yabis on The Supper in the Grammar Journal Theory and Criticism. And now we're working on Marios Bodikas. He's played the murder of Laius and the Cross, and also Pavlou Mantesis on his play, and we're trying to examine his play, The Roar. Now, as Vaios mentioned before, one of the objectives of this project was the publication of thematically oriented papers in specialist journals or in collective volumes, and I have already mentioned this. The second objective was to produce and make electronically available a detailed database of modern Greek poems and plays, which explicitly and programmatically set out to adapt, update, parody, or otherwise rewrite classical Greek drama. And here I would like to make a very brief demonstration and presentation of our website and the database. So this is the home page. As you can see in the navigation bar, you can find information about the scope of the project, the team. Here is the database, forthcoming events and news, the outcomes, and from here you have access to all our publications, and you can also contact us with comments and suggestions. And there's also a search engine for simple advanced search if you're looking for something very specific. Now, as you can see on the right side of the screen of the web page, there are two blocks of information, authors and works and mythic characters, and these are displayed in the form of tag clouds. Now, tag clouds are excellent for navigational purposes because they provide an overview, a visual overview of the database entries, because the size of each tag depends on the database entries assigned to the tag. So the database is divided into four main categories: poets, playwrights, mythic characters, ancient tragedies. These are clickable, so if you click on poets and playwrights, you will be directed to this page. And by clicking on the name of each poet or playwright, you can get more information. Each of the names of the name of each poet and playwright radiates into a number of subcategories. So here you can get a general bibliography, audiovisual material, interviews and documentaries regarding Ritsos, and also some audiovisual stuff for the specific poems we're examining, useful links, and also if you, through works, you can have access to more details regarding the poems we examine. So for each poem or play, we provide factual information on its the collection it belongs to, its first and subsequent publications, the mythical characters that we encounter in the play or poem, and the links of the specific poem or play with specific ancient Greek tragedies. So if you select the name of the play, let's take Phaedra for instance, then you get even more details intertextual links between the modern Greek work and the ancient Greek tragedies in terms of themes, here, language, mythic characters, and also you get a more focused bibliography. Now, the web page was created on WordPress, which renders the web page quite dynamic because it allows users to publish posts, leave comments, and in general to actively contribute to the project, so please do contribute to our attempt. We also have a profile in Facebook and Twitter, and you can follow us to stay informed and updated regarding new publications and other events. And just to note that during this conference, we will be sending live tweets so that our followers may have real-time updates regarding the various papers of the conference. And Andonis Petridis will be the chorus leader in this attempt. Now, also in our webpage, you can find a video that tells you how to use the webpage of the database. So the creation of the webpage and the database was the second objective, and the third objective was this very conference. So our aim in organizing the conference was, on the one hand, to gather together specialists on Greek tragedy and reception studies, to highlight important research being conducted in the field worldwide, to discuss various methodological and theoretical problems, and in general, to encourage scholarly interaction, and why not, to promote collaboration and joint projects. On the other hand, we wanted to open up our scholarly debate with the Eumenides to the general public, and to invite reflection, and if you like, self-reflection, on how our shared Greek heritage continues to shape our intellectual and cultural lives. Again, many thanks to our speakers for accepting our invitation to contribute to the conference. Many thanks to all the participants for being here on a Sunday morning. We know it's not easy. And we're sure that you will enjoy the conference and find all the papers stimulating and